There's one gig where we had to lie on the floor of the bus when these moral majority who were driving in, and they were after Angus because he dropped his drawers and they said it's the son of the devil. Well, we were all devil's children. So they're waiting for the bus coming. Big John, our security, said, right, I want everybody lying on the floor. And it was Tipper Go, that was her. But anyway, so we have changed the name on the front of the bus to Singers for Christ. And we drove in. That was the only way we could get in. And by the way, that was in America too.
We were scheduled for 8 shows. We ended up playing 4.5. And I do remember it was in the middle of Dormant Bodies Bursting. We were playing that song. And all I remember is looking up finally, I guess at one point, and George is, dude, stop, you know, because George is telling me to stop. Because everybody kind of, I think the guitars may have just stopped. And then it was like, oh, what's going on? And then I looked, and there's 7 or 8 guys wearing ski masks and have guns and everything. And there's this one dude in front. Everyone was calling him Putin, because he kind of had a Putin look. What? And he's looking at us like, yeah, if we don't stop now, he is, you know, do something, you know. So we stopped, like, okay, we have to stop, assuming it's some sort of authority, I guess. We go into the backstage room and we just stood there. Nobody ever came in that room. Not one person came in there to do anything, talk to us, do anything with us. They stayed there. The fans were still there. They didn't tell the fans to leave. And we were told that it was a drug search. They just knew what they were doing. They're like, okay, you can resume. Oh, it's curfew, so show's over, kind of a thing. So luckily we got half the set out of that one.
We're on stage, some kid throws a coin up on stage. Those English pounds are pretty thick. Hit me, and I was like, you little shit. Took my guitar off because it had whacked my guitar too, and came back out. I said, give Ireland back to the Irish. I said, this one's for the cause, anarchy and answer. Not knowing that was the IRA. I say that, audience goes, whoa, they've got bomb dogs in there. And I wake up the next morning, we're in Dublin, and David Ellison and I are eating breakfast, and he won't talk to me, and I'm like, what gives, you know? Because I mean, on this tour, I'd already peed in the suitcase once and stuff like this. And he goes, you don't remember what happened last night? I was like, no, I don't. He goes, we were escorted out of North Ireland back to Dublin in a bulletproof bus. The next day, we arrived in Nottingham in England, and I started working on Holy Wars that day. And so the day after that incident happened, we get this great song. Now, I wish there would have been a different inspiration for it, but hey.
There was a couple times people got pretty close to getting hurt or they got hurt. We're playing, James playing, going to do our thing that we usually do, step back, like that, and look down, all of a sudden, right there on the stage, and it said, dart. And we're like, what the fuck? Another one. The security guys would use the laser pointers, beam that out and find that guy up there that had the darts, and they single him out. Stop the show and point that guy out, and everyone goes, that guy just threw darts at us. And one great security guy, big dude and real fast. And a kid got on the stage in an amphitheater. He keeps getting away from him. He keeps evading the security guy each time. And we keep playing and kind of looking, and the kids keep applauding the kid each time he ducks him. Right, but then finally he traps him at the edge of the stage and he can't go anywhere, and this guy's like fucking hulking, and the kid just dives and goes for it into amphitheater seating. He catches his shoulder blade on the edge of the chair, and it completely takes his fucking arm back off his body. It was fucking brutal, crazy brutal. And then the sheriffs came and fucking grabbed him by the neck like this and take his ass out. He's just fucked up, you know.
In 1986, I was in a club band in New Orleans. Motley Crue and glam rock was the big craze of the time. I had the spiked wig, and I had, get this, white spandex on. I had been sick. I learned that when you are sick and you consume too much vitamin C, it can have dire consequences. We started off the set, and I think the first big belting high note I went to hit, I shat bright orange stool. And I knew it happened, so I waited for the guitar solo and like walked backwards off the stage and had to borrow someone else's worn, sweaty spandex. And then woke up the next morning with the crabs. The end.
Well, I was lulled into a false sense of security by the Charlotte Police Department. They invited me to go back to the station house to do a bunch of confiscated drugs, and actually bushwhacked me and cut off my cuttlefish with a laser saw. Tipper Gore was holding it for some time. They made her give it back though, but I never received my old cuttlefish, but luckily grew a new one, and it's even bigger and more encrusted in herpes than the old one. I have no idea where it is exactly. It could be just about anywhere at this point. I've heard reports of it in Australia, in the Marianas Trench, in Paris. There is another cuttlefish out there searching for me. I hear it's grown to Godzilla-like proportions, and it easily could be the basis for the next Guar show.
Lollapalooza tour. We're in Seattle. And this guy who from Seattle says, hey man, check this out. My mother came and she made some food for you guys. So, you know, you guys want to have it. And it happened to be gumbo. So I eat the gumbo, blah, blah, blah. I'm waiting. Within 20 minutes, I had full-blown diarrhea. So I'm in the fucking porta potty, sitting there, shitting my brains out, and the motherfuckers, the intro music came on. So I pull up my shit, clench my ass, and I run through the mud across, not to mention it's raining. I take the mic and I run onto the motherfucking stage, and I did a full set with my ass cheeks clenched like fucking a steel trap. Like, yo, make some noise, you wonderful. So, and to make matters worse, I had on shorts. I made it off the stage, walked right off, first porta potty, chocolate Niagara Falls. One fart. It would have been absolute disaster. Don't fuck with grandma's gumbo. And if you do, you better have some fucking powerful butt cheeks.
Everybody came out of their house and all the neighbors were looking at it thinking, who is in the limousine? They see Ozzy getting out of the car. He came to my mother and father's house for Easter dinner. And he comes in and my mother says, can I get you a drink? And he says, yeah, I'll have a bottle of wine. So she pours him a glass and he puts the glass down and he takes the bottle. He starts to drink it and he's drinking it and he starts to get lower and lower and lower in the chair until finally he was just happy. So we thought we'd have a roast leg of lamb with roast potatoes and baked onions and Brussels sprouts, and just a very typical British dinner. He brings the lamb to the table, this great big leg of lamb, and gives Ozzy the electric knife. And Ozzy's trying to slice this huge chunk of lamb, and it slips, and the entire leg of lamb goes flying off the table. And Ozzy says, oh, fuck. Well, that's all right. I don't eat lamb anyway. It was classic.
Before the show, I'm in the dressing room in Roseland, one of them little small ones downstairs. And I'm in there with Daniel Ray, the guy who did the 2 Michael Graves Misfit records. Marky's in the room with us, so we're all fucking bullshitting. The door opens up and there's Joey, and he's standing there like Boris Karloff from Frankenstein, like that scene. And I look at him and he's fucking fuming. Like he's like so mad. And then they're like staring each other down, and I'm like, holy fuck, I'm gonna have to grab both of these dudes in the headlock, 2 of my childhood heroes, and take them to the fucking ground. So I'm like thinking about that. I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I'm getting ready to do it. And Daniel walks in between them, pulls a cigarette out and taps it on his cigarette thing. He's like, 2 guys know each other? And they just stopped. And I was like, holy shit, it was this close. What are you gonna do? You gonna let them fight each other?
Kiss gets back together in 1996. We go to Santiago, Chile. Dime always had, in the road cases we had, he always had Kiss makeup. We decided to don the Kiss makeup, and Gene and, Philip puts on the star, and Dime puts on Ace, and Vinny, whatever. We wanted to watch the show, and so we kind of walk over and go up by the scaffolding. Well, the thing that happened was the kids could see us, and so in between every Kiss song, they were screaming, Pantera, Pantera, Pantera. So we quickly got to get down, man. This is not going to be a good thing. So towards the end of the night, we go back to the dressing room and drink all this terrible beer. So my tech comes up to me, he goes, you gotta come see this, man. We go out and there's these big, huge piles of this black stuff. He goes, that's human hair. That's from where the kids had pulled all of each other's hair out in the pit during your show. That's just not normal, you know? So just happened to find some gasoline and lit a few on fire until they kicked us out of the goddamn place. It was quite the fun night.
I started having insomnia. I was so hyped up after the shows, and then I ended up going to sleep around later and later, like going from 4 a.m. to 5, 6, 7 a.m. And then in the end, I would just stay up all night and just look at the fucking ceiling. I said, man, I can't sleep. He says, well, if you ever need any sleeping pills, just let me know. I have some stuff. I'm like, oh, cool, thanks, man. Thanks, boss. So one day I'm like, hey, can you give me one of those pills? I really needed to go to sleep now and get some rest. Sure. Here, take this one. This is like one of the light ones that I have, so you're gonna be fine. Of course, I take the fucking pill. I kid you not. Then the next day, the lobby call was 5:30 p.m., 5:15. I couldn't wake up. I got lost in a fucking oblivion. It was like I died. I barely get my shit together, run downstairs to the lobby, a ride to the fucking plane. So I go on the plane. I'm standing there, and then Ozzy comes in. The first thing he says is he sees me. You're fucking stoned! I'm like, yeah. The tour manager grabs me and goes, you fucking idiot. Why would you ever take any drugs from this guy? It's like, I'm like, I didn't think about it, I'm sorry.
So, our very first bus driver that we ever got in the US, his name was Kevin Cassidy, and we wound up just calling him Dad.
Like 75, 80 miles an hour on the highway, he would jump out of the seat and run to the back of the bus and touch the back wall and then run all the way back and jump back in the seat.
All of a sudden, like, we're looking outside and it's raining pretty hard, and the bus is like, it feels like it's just getting blown all over the highway, and we're all kind of freaking out a little bit. He rips back the curtain, he says, hey, if you guys are playing video games in the back, like, save your game right now or whatever, and I want everyone to come up to the front because there's an excellent chance we're gonna get a lightning strike. And you guys need to come up to the front of the bus. Wow, what are we driving into a tornado? So we get it to the front of the bus, and all of a sudden, he pulls back the curtain again, and he screams at Morgan, our drum tech at the time. He's like, Morgan, get up here! He's like, listen, I need you to go, and I need you to get into the kitchen, and I get garbage bags for everyone. And he's like, okay. And he hands out all these garbage bags, and he's like, he pulls back the curtain again, he yells back, he's like, I want everybody, get in the garbage bag. We're gonna get hit by lightning for sure. And then, and I'm like, I'm sitting there holding the garbage bag. He's freaking, he's already in the garbage bag. You have the thing like up to your neck. You look like you're in a sleeping bag.
I went for this.
And then all of a sudden, the bus just kind of straightens right out, and the curtain comes open, and Morgan's standing there with a camera, and he takes a picture of everybody sitting in the garbage.
I don't know what the hell is going on with it.
So I'm gonna go all the way back to 1998.
Oh, I knew it.
We were opening for our friends Agnostic Front, and now at the time, this is in France. We go out, stop playing this intro. There's only about 5 people in the venue. The rest are outside smoking and drinking. They want nothing to do with us. We start the second song, and Al's not there. So after about halfway through the song with no vocals, we just stopped and we went off. We're in back. Where the hell is Al? Where the hell is Al? And we look out the window, it was up on the second floor, and here comes Al, strutting down the street.
Taking my time.
And one of the guys working for us said, Al, what are you doing? The band already went on stage without you. And he said, what are you talking about? He thought it was a lie. He was in the red light district at a jerk-off booth. He was doing his business. He missed his wife. And he got the times wrong and let us on stage while he was doing his business. We were playing to a bunch of people that didn't want to see us. So.